Direct Relief's mission is pretty simple. It's to provide health support to people who are born into poverty or find themselves thrust into a critical situation by an emergency. On a day-to-day basis, it's heavily operational. We provide prescription medications, vaccines, medical supplies to qualified partner organizations in response to chronic need or emergency situations. The purpose is humanitarian in nature, but the functions themselves are things like warehouse, inventory management, logistics, transportation. The functions are business-like.
Data is critical to what we do at Direct Relief. One of the things Direct Relief prides itself on is being transparent in its activities and having access and clarity into the work that we do. For example, we need to know every time a bottle of medicine is shipped, where it goes, and how it's going to be beneficial to a partner. We take that information and we actually put it on our public website to inform our donors, both the companies that support our work and the individuals that support the organization, what went where and why. Having clear, clean, accessible data is integral to that effort.
So trust and transparency is really important to us, whether it's our response for Hurricane Matthew or the Nepal earthquake or the Ecuador earthquake. We want donors to know exactly this is where your product went, these are the people that it helped serve.
Before, it was very difficult. We had multiple data sets, different people responsible for oversight over the data sets.
One of the complaints that our CEO would tell me is that if he asked 3 different people for that same information, he would get 3 different answers because people interpreted the data differently.
We see that all the time, from Ebola to flooding in Louisiana to earthquakes. Certain questions: how many hospitals are open? How many people need help? How much power is there in the region? Is there water? They're basic questions, hard to answer.
About a year ago, we started using Click, and we really got excited about it. We had more and more requests coming in from the organization of looking at different data in different ways, and we started to run into a problem.
We were starting to slow down because we had not necessarily implemented with a true governance structure. We didn't remember, did we transform the data correctly in this file, or did we do it differently in this file?
We needed some sort of central repository for the data.
So TimeXtender with their data discovery hub has really allowed us to step back a little bit, make sure that all of our data modeling is done in a very organized manner.
There's no question that Discovery Hub has helped us make sense of all this information.
Having kind of real-time visual access into our inventory was something that was cumbersome before. The new way is clear, quicker, and provides better insight than we've ever had.
So the Discovery Hub for Direct Relief allows us to synthesize and bring clarity, or get clarity, from all sorts of disparate data streams, whether it's geographic information or inventory information or public health information or weather information. All that ultimately influences how we make a decision of what to do today to help people who are in crisis or vulnerable to becoming in crisis. Simple in concept, but kind of profound in its impact.
Since the solution has been implemented here at Direct Relief, we have just much higher confidence across the organization about our data. We're all looking at the same set of information, and there's a higher degree of confidence around that information.
One of the problems with our old system was that people had to understand the system terminology. Because we're able to transform the data directly in TimeXtender, we can put it in business language for our business users. So for them, it's much easier to understand what the reports are actually telling them. So that's a key benefit.
The 3 largest benefits that we get from TimeXtender is, first of all, aggregating data from disparate sources. Another wonderful thing that TimeXtender gives is it does all the ETLs that you probably were building by hand. And the third benefit is I only have to validate the data once, then I know it's good forever. One of the features of TimeXtender that we really like is the incremental loading. And it's really a fabulous thing. We have tables that normally take 10 or 15 minutes to load. By putting in incremental loading, these tables would take 1 to 5 seconds to load, so it will be saving us a lot of time and also giving more power to the rest of the users in the organization.
The solution that we have in place allows us to pull different sets of information to have a much clearer picture of our work, and that in turn allows us to be better at what we do.
It's awful when people are put into these crises, but our job is to help them. So to be able to help them more efficiently, more precisely, faster, it is rewarding.
Knowing all of this information, where they are, what they're being treated for, helps us communicate more clearly to the companies that support our work, and ultimately helps us deliver more support to more people in need.
Because it's so easy to use and the implementation is so much quicker than traditional BI systems, it's just been a wonderful tool. And then to partner that with a business visualization tool, the two together are just, awesome.
Anything that makes better use of time, that's a wonderful thing. So we're delighted to have TimeXtender because it allows us to do our job better and allows us to spend money more wisely and ultimately serve people better.